After founding a subgenre, sitting at 1 million monthly listeners, and nicknamed the most humble rapper, Summrs has had quite the come up. Hi, I'm Rashad Bashir, and this is the untold story of Summrs. November 18th, 1999, Deontay Adam Johnson, known as Summrs, was born to two young parents in Lafayette, Louisiana. His parents broke up when he was 6, and he was raised by a single mother ever since. As a family, they struggled financially, and they had to move in with his grandma for a couple years. It wasn't pretty. The house he grew up in was the
ugliest house you could imagine.
His mother would struggle and work 10-hour days just to support him and his brother, going as far to take out loans so they could enjoy Christmas. Summrs' mom working so much gave him a lot of freedom growing up. At a young age, he'd pick up smoking, and later on, he'd start to get mixed up with the wrong crowd. But he didn't let his rough situation get in the way of him having fun.
Really, I just wanted to play basketball.
Summrs would get really into sports, like basketball. Before he was into music, he wanted to play basketball. He'd also make dance videos and vines for fun, and play games like 2K, Call of Duty, and was doing trick shots on Black Ops 2, which he'd post montages of on YouTube. At that time, he wanted to be a part of FaZe. While he was a kid, he listened to a lot of Chief Keef, and later on, he even got 2 tattoos on himself of Chief Keef. In school, Summrs got straight Fs and couldn't make it through high school due to his lack of interest and attention. When he was in 9th grade, he recorded himself doing something with a classmate, and the entire school saw it. According to him, they started getting called to the office.
They was like, "Did you take this video?" I was just like, "Man, fuck it, yes." Like, this is my first time getting like, yeah, I did.
And he told the office it was his first time, so he was excited.
I got kicked out, got expelled.
Long story short, he got expelled and would have to get homeschooled by his mother while also enrolled in online school due to his ADHD. Music had already taken over Summrs' life, even when he was in school in person.
I'd be making music and not doing my schoolwork, like I'd be recording on the laptop.
Every time he'd come home, he'd be making music instead of doing schoolwork. Homeschooling and online school were no different. His mom tried to homeschool him for a year, but every time she'd go to work, he'd just use the homeschooling laptop to make music. His first project, Backwoods, was actually made on his homeschooling laptop. Music would slowly take over his life, and by the time Summrs had turned 16, he no longer was playing video games or basketball. His passion for music had fully taken over. But his mom wasn't gonna let him stay at home and fool around all day. She told him,
"You don't want to do school, you about to get a job, and you about to get your GED."
He was very close to getting one as well. He had already filled out his job application and sent it in. He made $1,000 one week, and it convinced his parents to let him pursue music over a regular job. Pretty soon, he was independent.
Like, I don't have no job, but like, I'm doing better than people with jobs like my age. Like, I make a lot of money off it every day.
Later, on his 19th birthday, he'd get a rose tattooed on his neck so he could never get a job. Summrs would start to make music when he was 16. At the time, he was named Louis VD, but he changed it to Summrs because he thought it sounded cooler. Summrs was originally his gamer tag on Xbox that he made in 2014. When he started, he didn't have any real equipment, so he recorded off of an Xbox mic and an archaic software called Mixcraft before switching to FL Studio. At this time in his career, he was really inspired by artists who were young like him, such as Chief Keef and Doo-Wop Came.
Chief Keef, and he really inspired me, like him and Doo-Wop. I really started music from Doo-Wop. Like, I heard his song and I was like, what the this youngest, and I wanted to make music because I saw him doing it. Shit was easy.
Chief Keef really inspired Summrs a lot back in the day, as well as Doo-Wop Came. In a couple of years, he started to gain attention, but it wasn't easy. It took him dropping 12 projects before he got any sort of attention, and his first SoundCloud, Decray23, was even deleted. His first major song was Pack Runner, which quickly racked up 120,000 plays, becoming his largest song at the time.
A song called Pack Runner by Zang Gang.
Okay.
That's the first song that went up. When I started going up, like, that's when I became who I am. Hey, my fan base started going crazy.
When he dropped that song, he was 18.
On SoundCloud itself, you have like, what, just short of 4 million?
6,000 followers.
4 million total plays.
And at this point, he started to believe he could make it. That year, he was focused on
videos and like interviews and blogs. I need more connections and grow my fan base more.
And even,
but I got offers before. Yeah, I declined them.
Well, the offers weren't good enough?
Nah.
During that time, Summrs began to meet some of his closest collaborators.
Who was your first friend in the underground?
Autumn. Yeah, probably Autumn.
The first being a producer named Trap God Benji, who'd later become Autumn. They met after Summrs found Autumn's beats on YouTube, and they started talking on Instagram. They found out they lived close to each other and bonded over the lack of creativity in the music in Louisiana. To show you how close they were, Autumn named himself after the season after Summrs. Summrs dropping Pack Runner was a huge moment for his career. Not only was it his largest song, but it started a subgenre, Plug and B. Him and Autumn were the first ones making Plug and B, with the help of Zang Gang, according to him. They were the first to sing on those type of beats, and the reason he started singing emotionally was due to his girlfriend.
I had a girlfriend.
Oh.
We was going through like that. She was a big part of that song. That's what started that Plug and B.
The song was even the first time Summrs began experimenting with drugs. He described the feeling as,
I felt good, like the best I ever. That's why I fell in love with perk, bro.
After Summrs tried his first perk, he almost became an addict.
I used to be on the perks heavy, but like once I started having like withdrawals and I slowed down on them.
Another one of his early collaborators was Wyland, who added Summrs to Pack Runner, DMing him, "You a Pack Runner," and taught Summrs how to promote his music by doing stunts to gain followers. In 2018, he went viral for a fake overdose. Summrs was supposedly
found unconscious after that whole situation where you ended up in hospital and everything.
He posted a picture captioned "Off 5 Xans," then a picture of him in the hospital. What really happened was his girlfriend was sick and he got one of his friends to take a picture of him in one of the hospital beds.
It's really bad, but like it was really good at the same time because that really put me more out there.
ODing was really good for publicity. The pictures were posted by all sorts of meme pages. His Instagram following doubled. After the quote-unquote overdose, he gave himself the nickname Reno.
Reno is the new Summrs. After the OD situation, Reno came.
He also dropped a song, Demi Lovato, where he addressed the situation, saying, "Still taking Xans, cause I ain't die yet." The song accidentally got him into beef with Comethazine, who also had a song called Demi, and thought he was biting him.
He just came at me because I made a song called Demi Lovato. Like, I didn't understand.
In 2017, artists like D Savage were the biggest plug artists, and people weren't really messing with Summrs' new sound, known as plug and beat. It was new and wasn't as polished. Simply put, they didn't think the music was good. But by 2018, listeners began to catch on and Summrs would start to build a larger following, with songs like Prelude getting traction. 2018 was a huge year for Summrs. He dropped some of his most notable plug and beat projects, like the Bell World albums, Devotion, Endeavor, and Revive. But it also was a tough year for him. In the beginning of the year, he got into Percocets.
My friend gave me one, bro. And like when I took it, it was like the best feeling I ever had. Like,
he had problems with anxiety and used to take it to take the tension off of his relationship issues.
Into them because like I go through shit, like, and I just feel like that's a source to like get away from something, like get my mind off it sometimes.
He dropped 2 projects dedicated to his girlfriend that year, Bell World 1 and Bell World 2. However, the relationship ended when she cheated on him with his best friend Deuce, and even dropped a song called Bros Fall Out addressing the situation. In 2019, Summrs became part of Slay World, the rap group he's most famous for being a part of. But in 2018, Summrs would join 2 other collectives that serve as a precursor to the group, Hell World and D1. Hell World was a collective of producers and artists such as Summrs, Autumn, Can, and Lista. D1 was a group with some of the same artists like Summrs, Autumn, Can, but others like Cash Bentley, SSG Kobe, and more. The group's pages are still up to this day. The next year, Summrs began to make more rap and took a break from plug and beat, dropping albums like World Against Me, Evolved, and Isolation. But it wasn't regular mainstream rap. The music was still pushing the envelope of what was out at the time. Songs like Coke, Test Some, and Get 'Em Gone were all really experimental and brought him a lot of newer rap fans. In addition to switch to rap, Summrs was also heavily active with his group, Slay World. I have an entire video on them, so I won't get too deep into it, but Slay World was a group consisting of Summrs, Can, Autumn, Goonie, Isaiah TG, and several others that ended up becoming one of the biggest underground rap groups in the last couple of years. Affiliated members were rappers like Yeet, Wyland, and SSG Kobe, who Summrs worked with. However, the group collapsed due to drama, beef, and allegations between the members, and the founder, Kane, even passed away. Summrs also moved in with Can on the north side of Houston, another one of his close collaborators, as well as one of his producers early in his career. Their first time meeting is actually documented on a vlog. Later, they moved in with Goonie and DJ YP in Florida, where the rest of Slay World was. During that time, Summrs and Can would beef with Sofego. The full story is in my Slay World video, but after dropping a series of diss tracks, the beef fizzled out. The year was filled with more drama. Summrs had a couple allegations come out against him. He was accused of being with someone underage, as well as him and Can destroying someone's Airbnb. However, 2019 was a very successful year for Summrs. He signed a record deal with Victor, and his music was getting the most attention it ever had. But despite the success, 2019 was a tough year for him. When he went to Houston, the selection for drugs was much greater and Summrs got into lean and perks. Shortly after, he became addicted and has been struggling ever since.
That's not the point though. I'm asking you, why would you drive over here and give it 2 minutes? Like, been waiting on you for 2 hours, bro. Like,
he tried his best to quit them and was going through withdrawals, but the allegations from fans would take a toll on Summrs' mental health, making him depressed and made it much harder for him to quit the drugs. In 2020, Summrs didn't drop a project, only some singles, building up hype for his much anticipated album Intoxicated. That year, Summrs had an altercation with a girl named Gabby, who catfished his friends, broke his window, and got arrested. He went viral on the internet for the situation and even got his first appearance on a major platform, No Jumper. At the end of the year, Summrs' grandma Brenda passed away from a stroke and it affected him greatly.
Like when that happened, I didn't care about music no more for real. I just wasn't motivated when that shit happened. That shit just broke my heart.
When no one supported him and his family, she did. He even lived with her for a couple months before he moved out. He later went on live crying, saying,
They supported me since I was a fucking kid, bro. With everything, like, get no sleep since Christmas. It happened on Christmas.
Following her death, he decided to take a break from rap. In 2021, after having issues with his label, Victor Victor, he exited the deal and finally dropped Intoxicated independently, but fans were disappointed. The project wasn't what he hyped it up to be in their opinion, but he followed it up with 2 more tapes, What We Have and Nothing More Nothing Less, which became some of his best recent work. One of the songs, Just Can't, went viral on TikTok. In 2022, he continued to drop music that was well received by his fans like Fallen Raven, but got into legal trouble. During that year, he started to show love to a small artist named Jace and became friends with him in real life. Sometime during the year, Jace, Summrs, his brother, and someone else were meeting up with this plug, but instead of paying him, they pulled out a gun and robbed him. Allegedly, of course. Later, they got arrested and Jace snitched, landing Summrs on house arrest for close to a year. On top of that, fans have shown backlash to his new hard persona, calling him out for trying to act tough, getting into altercations with random people, and flexing guns on social media. More on this can be found in part 2, The Influence of Summrs. At the end of the year, Summrs signed a deal with 10K Projects and got a large advance from the label. At the end of the year, he bought a Maybach and started flexing and spending on social media, going as far as flexing his faucets and electricity bill. More notably, he went viral for throwing a tantrum about a caramel McFlurry. I have a full video on the situation too if you want to hear more. And he's received quite a lot of backlash from his fans for all these antics, jokingly being called the most humble rapper. And the funniest part is he continues to respond to the fans. But despite the fan backlash, he still dropped 2 projects, Stuck in My Ways and Ghost, which despite the mixed reviews were quality projects. Recently, Summrs' stubborn and street persona has been getting him quite a lot of hate from his fans. Personally, sometimes it's cringe, sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it's just an overreaction. The rivalry between Summrs and his fans has even gone far enough to where a fan made a post on his subreddit claiming he was broke, so he made a post on Instagram to let them know he's still rich. However, although Summrs has been getting a lot of criticism for the way he's been acting, to me, it's the reason why he has so many fans, because people love to feel a genuine connection with an artist. Summrs checks all the boxes. He's vulnerable, has shown growth, is consistent, and is just a regular person. Of course, he has amazing music as well. If you'd like to hear more of my personal thoughts and other rare pieces of information I couldn't fit into the video, watch part 2, The Evolution and Influence of Summrs. Have a nice day, and thanks for watching. See you next time.